They say Cleopatra lived closer to our present day than the time when the Great Pyramids of Giza were built. Yet so many peculiar facts about her life have been lost to history. Did you know she spoke only a few languages despite ruling Egypt? What exactly were the experiments she conducted with deadly snakes? Join me on StoryVault as I dive into some truly bizarre details about the enigmatic last pharaoh you never knew. Cleopatra's unusual language skills. One of the strangest things about Cleopatra was that although she ruled over Egypt for over 2 decades, she did not speak a word of Egyptian. As the daughter of Egyptian monarchs, you would think the native tongue would have been her first language. However, growing up during a time when Egypt was under Roman rule, Cleopatra spoke Koine Greek, which had become the lingua franca of her world. She was also fluent in Latin, as she actively worked to ally Egypt with Rome. Aside from some academic Hebrew and other Middle Eastern languages, Egyptian was noticeably absent from Cleopatra's repertoire, despite it being widely spoken all around her. Scholars believe she did this deliberately to keep Roman and Greek visitors more comfortable during her reign over Egypt. Experimenting with deadly snakes. Cleopatra had a deep fascination with snakes and was renowned for her experiments with them. She kept several Egyptian cobras and asps as pets at her palace in Alexandria, but her morbid curiosity led her to take her studies much further. Ancient historians tell tales of Cleopatra sealing live prisoners inside tight, airtight clay jars along with angry, venomous snakes. She would then closely observe and record how long it took for the snakes to bite and fatally envenomate the terrified victims trapped inside with them. Her graphic notes on the victims' writhing, screaming agony as their bodies slowly shut down have thankfully been lost to time. However, it gives us insight into Cleopatra's cold detachment and willingness to sacrifice lives in the name of scientific inquiry, no matter how unethical. Seductive bathing and beauty rituals. When it came to seduction, Cleopatra also spared no effort or expense. She famously seduced both Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony, 2 of the most powerful men in the Roman world. But the preparation and rituals she undertook were equally strategic. Cleopatra was said to begin her day with an intense regimen of exercise and physical training to work up a thorough sweat. She would then spend hours indulging in luxurious baths, scented with exotic Egyptian oils and herbs. After emerging refreshed and glistening, Cleopatra applied elaborate markings of kohl eyeliner and luxurious tutti frutti scents all over her body. She would receive guests clad only in the finest sheer linens, strategically draped to arouse, but still reveal glimpses of flawless skin. Using advanced knowledge of botany and the erotic arts, Cleopatra made a spectacle of seduction that helped cement both her political alliances and place in history. Eccentric taste in banquets and entertainment. Cleopatra had an eccentric taste when it came to banquets and entertainment. She would hire female acrobats, contortionists, and snake charmers to perform death-defying acts amid platters of exotic foods from across her expanding empire. Dinner guests told of watching women swallow live eels whole or dance while balancing on the backs of great bears. Some contortionists were set to dislocate their joints to squeeze their tiny bodies into jars or twist themselves into impossible pretzel-like shapes, all to the queen's delight and amusement. But Cleopatra's parties were notorious not just for theatrical performances. Guests were also treated to lavish displays involving feasting amid rose petals floating in pools, dining on citrus fruits never before seen in Europe, and reclining on beds of animal furs as exotic music played long into the night. Obsession with finding the secrets of immortality. As if her exploits with snakes and seductions were not strange enough, Cleopatra was also obsessed with finding the secrets of immortality. She surrounded herself with alchemists, occult practitioners, and mystic healers claiming to possess elixirs of eternal youth. Rumor has it Cleopatra even tried injecting herself with the venom and bodily fluids of creatures believed to live exceptionally long lives like snakes, spiders, and unknown Nile creatures, thinking their powers would be transferred to her. She stockpiled rare herbs and other alchemical concoctions imported from Asia and beyond. Unfortunately, most details of Cleopatra's quest for immortality through dangerous experimentation and sacrifice have been lost. But it reveals the depth of her compulsion to unlock nature's deepest hidden magic and defy the inevitable fate of death. Uncanny bond with serpents. Cleopatra had an unusual charm and power over snakes that has long puzzled historians. Eyewitnesses remarked that venomous snakes seemed almost hypnotized in her presence and would slither toward her outstretched hand without signs of aggressiveness. Some even suggested she possessed the mythical ability to literally command serpents with her voice. While spending time in the gardens of her palace at Alexandria, it was said Cleopatra would often be seen surrounded by a flock of snakes peacefully draped around her shoulders, wrists, and head as if they recognized her as their queen. To this day, the full extent and secret behind Cleopatra's uncanny bond with serpents remains one of the strangest mysteries of her reign. Incestuous marriages and relationships. As the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty, Cleopatra took the royal Egyptian tradition of incestuous marriage to an unprecedented extreme. She wed and produced children with both of her younger brothers, Ptolemy XII and Ptolemy XIV, to legitimize her claim as co-regent. But Cleopatra didn't stop there. Ancient coins depict her sharing an incestuous kiss with her daughter Cleopatra Selene II. While relations with offspring were unusual even by Egyptian standards, it showcases the lengths Cleopatra went to cement her bloodline's grip on the throne, no matter how socially unacceptable. Her audacious exploits with family members add yet another bizarre layer to the salacious legend of one of history's greatest female seducers. Mysterious cause of death. Perhaps the most bizarre thing about Cleopatra was her unusual cause of death. While many accounts claim she committed suicide by allowing an asp to fatally bite her, some historians have questioned this narrative. Another intriguing theory is that Cleopatra may have been poisoned. It's believed she had extensive knowledge of poisons and their antidotes from studying with Egypt's most skilled toxicologists. She reportedly carried hemlock and other deadly substances on her person at all times. Some think in her final moments, Cleopatra swallowed a pill containing deadly poison rather than face capture by her enemy Octavian. A less popular idea even suggests Cleopatra may have faked her death using her expertise in potions. After all, no one truly saw exactly how she perished behind closed doors. To this day, the mystery endures. Just how did ancient Egypt's most fascinating yet peculiar queen really meet her highly questionable demise? As the last active ruler of Egypt's Ptolemaic dynasty, she pushed boundaries in science, language, and the carnal arts, unlike any leader before her. What other peculiarly dark secrets or talents from ancient Egypt's most notorious queen remain locked away, just waiting to be unearthed? Subscribe to StoryVault today to keep exploring bizarre histories of mysterious figures like Cleopatra and more.